It's just fantastic.
Captain's Log, Subject 210702.6. For this weekend, I've decided to close off the holodeck and go for a bike ride through my hometown, or a version of it. It'd be nice to see a place that my father obliterated because he's a salty cock. Welcome everyone to This Week at Twitter, or twat. Today we're going to start with a correction on yesterday's exhibition of stupid people. I mentioned at the end that Bill Cosby had admitted to the charges he faced. Actually, that was derived from an out-of-context clip. I found this out through Razorfist's Twitter, did a little digging, and yes, it is in fact true. He did not say as such. I still believe the subject as a whole is worthy of a Halls of Injustice, but I'm going to let things all play out first before I even consider covering it. So to start, we're going to go with some audience participation from my own Twitter. So let's see if we can get something going. If you are a metalhead like myself, name the shittest band within the entire metal genre. No list, just one band that stands out to you and a reason why. For me, the answer has to be Bullet for My Valentine, because their albums are inconsistent. They have a hit, then they make a dud, then they make a hit, then a dud, then a hit, and then a dud. Now, you can consider the order a bit skewed here, but I'm not overly fond of The Poison. Scream, Aim, Fire, Fever, and Venom to me are good albums. But the others, oh no. But also the fact that Matt Tuck records everything himself, for the sake of, and he even said this, consistency, renders the entire point of having a band moot, and just makes it look like a rather arrogant display of one person thinking they are better than everyone else. Additional arguments can be made about performance live. I saw them much earlier in their career and I know they have improved since. But since Matt Tuck can't do half the vocals live that are on the album, it's a bit weird to me. There are plenty of responses and I do want to know what you all think. Please do let me know in the comments down below and drive out that engagement. It is after all the sole reason I do audience participation. So next we're going to go to Jalin. What the F is an anime sexual? Now, I didn't know this was actually a thing. I do like Harley's response of Reddit user. I personally thought it was perhaps the reason things like body pillows existed, because I do recall years ago seeing images of either James Franco on a body pillow or just anime characters for things I've never heard of. So next we're going back to my Twitter account, because I like to get a bit of attention, and for like 1 hour I was actually on Twitter consistently tweeting and doing stuff, making mischief. This time it comes from the New Zealand Olympic Committee, who on Monday announced that Laurel Hubbard would be competing for New Zealand in the women's super heavyweight category for weightlifting. When I said this would cause a stir, I was right. It was trending, and I got plenty of comments from people pointing out that people will protest it, others indicating how long ago it was that Laurel Hubbard transitioned, therefore Laurel Hubbard should have no benefits over competitors, others pointing out sport has lost meaning, and others doing the sarcastic responses, which I can fully understand because this is being normalized and it is going to be controversial for a long time. I take the stance of no. I still believe, even with all those years, that there is an advantage, and we know this from Laurel Hubbard's own record. The only reason Laurel Hubbard didn't win a Commonwealth Gold was because Laurel Hubbard was injured. Laurel Hubbard has shattered records. There is a benefit here, an advantage, and it is an unfair one, and it will undoubtedly lead to further controversy if Laurel Hubbard wins the gold. And I just want to point at this because it does amuse me a little. If you remember the athlete Caster Semenya, you'll understand why I find it fascinating that one rule exists in one direction but not in the other, even though it was naturally produced. So next we go to Lee Hurst, who is trending yet again. This guy's got a knack for this, a talent for standing out. Unfortunately, the tweet's been deleted, and we'll get to the reason why in a moment, but I do have a screenshot from a Discord server that I do all my work on. Whatever has happened to Chris Whitty is not enough. Chris Whitty is one of the chief science advisors when it comes to the UK's response to coronavirus. He was, during the week, accosted by some men who put their arms around him, and because he moved himself under them, it looked like he had been placed in a headlock. Now, they should not have touched him. Not because he's an official, but because people need to respect other people's personal space. As a direct consequence, the man who accidentally put his arm around Chris Whitty and put him in what looked like a headlock has lost his job at an estate agent. So what Lee Hurst is suggesting here is that headlock was not enough, because we are still in these lockdowns and people are frustrated. For some really peculiar reason, sarcasm sign somewhere here please, everyone pounced on Lee Hurst for this and took the side of Chris Whitty, which is quite strange to me, because they're also the same people that were railing on Chris Whitty. As a direct consequence of this tweet, Lee Hurst has been suspended from Twitter. Congratulations. You managed to be trending so many times recently for your jokes, and for blunt comments that most people were thinking anyway. But because we don't like you, and by we I mean everyone else, I thought you were amusing, you got suspended. So while we're in the ballpark of trending, we should also talk about the fact that yet again GTA 6 was trending. Why is that, you say? Well, because GameSpot have pointed out that it is reported that the GTA 6 launch has reportedly been pushed back to 2025, because I think they found another way to milk the online game even more for that in-game transactions. They make bank from that and they know it. As long as the game takes place in Vice City, I am more than happy to be at the age of 39 to sit down and play GTA 6. If it's not, I'll be quite sad. So to our penultimate subject, we actually go to my delicious, scrumptious political co-host streaming tonight 9:30pm GMT on the Moistonian Live channel, Trups LP, who has called Polygon a dirty effing liar. Why? Because Polygon put out an article, but I'm going to read the title of the tweet. With Boromir's tender death in The Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring, Peter Jackson sold a brotherly kiss to an audience allergic to male intimacy and revived a style of soft masculinity, which isn't true in the slightest. In fact, in the article, as correctly pointed out by Count Dibula in a reply to Trups' retweet, gives himself away in the article, says it himself in the article. No one reacted negatively or was embarrassed by it, and that shocked him, because he is the one that has the problem with this sort of male intimacy, not the rest of us. And in this context, both Trups LP and Count Dibula are 100% correct. No one cared, and the only person that took issue with it was the guy that wrote the article for Polygon, because no one cared. What a time to be alive. I remember when this film first came out. I was in my mid to late teens, I loved it, I watched it. At no point did I think, oh my god, two men touching. The horror. I thought it was a nice way for redemption for Boromir, but that's just me. Unlike the writers for Polygon, I legitimately didn't care. So to our final subject, we're going to go in a completely different direction towards food. Many of you will have seen an image that I considered blasphemy, because only 50% of it was okay. The other half, not so much. In fact, I'd like to see if they could make a condiment out of one of these things. The other already is a condiment and needs to go the way of the dinosaurs. So for this we insert Dr. Photograph. New celeb couple alert. Accompanying this is a Heinz bottle with the word May Oreo sauce. Now I like Oreo, I really do. I actually eat the biscuit as a whole thing, not taking it apart, because I'm not overly fond of deconstructing my own food. Unless it's a Jaffa cake, in which case, go nuts. But I'm not a fan of mayonnaise. I never have been, and I never will be. You can insert any scenario you like. I will not, if I can avoid it, eat it. Well, Heinz saw this and said, the inventiveness here is beyond compare. However, I regret to inform you that this unique combination does not exist. Nevertheless, I must admit that I am intrigued. Thoughts at Oreo? To which Oreo reply, have to admit we've seen this all over Twitter recently and can't stop thinking about it. If for even a second this blasphemy makes it onto the market, I swear to whichever fake god it is you waste your time not pray to, I will annihilate your planets within 5 freaking minutes. If you're one of the weirdos that wants to try this, by all means do so. I will block you. I will block you everywhere. Be the contrarian now that you want to be, and do it just to stick it to me. Anyway, as we're done, I'd like to know what you all think. Please do let me know in the comments down below. If I don't see you on Twitch later, or on the political recap stream tonight, I hope you'll have a fantastic Friday and subsequent weekend, and thank you all very much for listening.